Snopes headline, no, Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. Published June 20th, 2024.
Media Matters most affected.
Literally.
Yes, literally.
About something that happened in 2017.
And the Media Matters, some of the Media Matters, some of the alumni from the Media Matters were out in force claiming that Donald Trump did. No, Snopes, you're wrong, that he was there, blah, blah, blah. If that's the case, you're on the side of commies and you're responsible for the 100 million dead.
We got to show this. We got to show this. Okay, so it says on August 15th, 2017, good 7 years ago, there's some 7-year-old kid who's like, let's be real. There's like a 14-year-old kid who is just now like starting to hear stuff on the news. And he was like, I was playing with Play-Doh when this happened. And now it's being fact checked. But let me read. Then President Donald Trump called neo-Nazis and white supremacists who attended the Charlottesville rally very fine people. False. In a news conference after the rally protesting the planned removal of a Confederate statue, Trump did say they were very fine people on both sides, referring to the protesters and the counter-protesters. He said in the same statement that he wasn't talking about neo-Nazis and white nationalists, who he said should be condemned totally. Editor's note.
Oh, boy.
Some readers have raised the objection that this fact check appears to assume Trump was correct in stating that there were very fine people on both sides of the Charlottesville incident. That is not the case. This fact check aimed to confirm what Trump actually said, not whether what he said was true or false. What? For the record, virtually every source that covered the Unite the Right debacle concluded that it was conceived of, led by, and attended by white supremacists, and that therefore Trump was wrong. This is an opinion statement. This is the most nonsensical thing. When Trump says there are very fine people on both sides, it's an opinion statement. You can't be right or wrong. I mean, like, you can have bad opinions, but there is no true or false in the opinion statement. It's, do you agree with Trump's assessment of fine or not? Now, the reality was Trump was correct. There's like a video of a little old lady. She's not a nasty person or a neo-Nazi or anything like that. She's just some little old lady who heard they were going to tear down her statue and she didn't want it to happen. There's a bunch of people like that. They're very fine people. That's it. Now, the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, of course, they're not. They were there and they intended on violence just like, and not every single one, don't get me wrong, but many of them intended on violence and brought weapons for that matter. I think there's a video of one guy shooting at another guy. So not a good thing in any respect. But it's like Trump gives opinion on people he saw. He's wrong.
Well, he's not allowed to have opinions because all of his opinions are bad and wrong.
It's literally just if it is not useful for the narrative that the left wants to portray.
No, it's not. And I think what's crazy is there's no need for that editor's note. Snopes doesn't have the cojones to just own their fact check. Mm-hmm. Your fact check is just facts. You shouldn't have to.
It's them saying
that's cowardice.
We don't like Donald Trump either.
Yeah.
We don't like him either. We had to say this thing, but we're still on your side, guys.
Yeah,
that's the state of journalism now, where you can't even say they report the facts and they're like, we're so sorry that we had to tell you this.
We're sorry that the truth. We're sorry the truth doesn't align with your attempts to manipulate. But listen, the left
says Trump is still a bad guy.
The left doesn't use language in a way to communicate. They use language to manipulate.
Yes.
That is the point of language to the left. They believe that words contain power and that to use words is to try to exercise power. They don't believe that that you can possibly have an honest conversation. They don't believe that anyone can have come to a disagreement from a charitable place. It is all about manipulation. It is all about power, which is why the left is where the crazy people go. The psychopaths go there because they welcome manipulative people.
Everything is a euphemism. And, I'm a reporter, so I know, I get all the oppo from the right? I see how the right wants to frame things. I know that on the left, when all this happens, let's say, on the gender affirming care note, the euphemism that they use for trans surgeries, hormones, and puberty blockers, I know they all get on press calls and they're told, don't say this, say this. Yeah. Which the right doesn't really do, actually.
The right is terrible at messaging.
I got to tell you, I am outraged at Donald Trump over this. I am furious. I don't know if I can support the man. The idea that he would refer to Antifa as very fine people is shocking, and it is shocking to the conscience of this country. I'm kidding. I will vote for Donald Trump. But you get my point. When Trump said there were very fine people on both sides, the media's reaction wasn't, oh, you called communists fine people? How could you, Trump? No, they were like Nazis. It's like, well, there were communists there, too. And like, I regard the communists and the Nazis very similarly as
Same
bad.
garbage. Same garbage. Just as murderous, same garbage. The commies get away with more murder because they actually wrap it up in a nice sounding package. The Nazis sound bad.
Well, I think it's true. And I think another reason why commies get a free pass is because the commies actually helped us stop the Nazis.
Yeah.
And so, like, they
They did the dying.
they did the dying.
We supplied the machines. They did the dying. And
Bro,
you know what?
The Soviet strategy in World War II was literally the Zap Brannigan strategy
Yes,
of
it
sending
was.
wave after wave of your own men until you overload the kill counters on the
That
kill
was
bots.
that was the same strategy the Chinese used in the Korean War. They just sent wave after wave after wave of Chinese people. And some of the guys that were going after the Americans, they were going into the field without weapons because they knew there were comrades that were dead, and they were told to pick up a rifle when you get to the front line. There will be dead men, there will be ammo, there will be rifles. They just kept sending wave after wave. That's what communists do because they don't value life, because they don't believe that human beings are valuable. They believe that human beings are cogs in a wheel. There's a Hegelian, there's an idea that Hegel came up with, that history uses people and casts them aside so the deaths don't matter, just so long as you're forwarding the march of history. They believe in a historicism. They believe that there is a goal for humanity, which is the communist utopia, and it doesn't matter how many people die if you get to the utopia, because they're going to die anyways. It doesn't matter. You're going to die anyways. There's no God. There's no afterlife. You're just a cog. You're just a step along the way to the perfected human civilization.
Is March of History the name of your new album?
No, stop it. But it is actually something that is it's something very positive, and I don't believe in a march.
I do think it's a very interesting point, though, and something you should keep in mind. The media is never outraged at Antifa. They are never. Was it Chris Cuomo, I believe, defended violent protests? Who says protests have to be peaceful? And then that dude eating the ramen had that viral video where he's like, it's right there in the First Amendment.
Amazing.
It says peaceably assemble. But this is what the media does because the media is aligned with Antifa.
Yeah, and then when a pro-life grandma prays outside an abortion clinic and begs someone not to abort their baby, she goes to jail.
I can't even. I can barely stay seated when I hear that garbage. That is insane. The idea that you can't protest because it is unpopular, or the progressives find it distasteful.
It upsets them.
Yeah,
they don't like it when you do it.
They find it distasteful, so you can't protest. But it's perfectly fine for leftists to say gas the Jews if they're talking
gosh.
about the Palestinian issue. They
Or
don't
throw
mind at
rocks
all.
through storefronts during the summer of
Disgusting.
2020, right? Like there are all kinds of
Disgusting.
things that are allowed by the media. I mean, never forget like mostly peaceful protests burning
Yeah.
building in the background. Iconic, right? And the media was all like, no, we stand by that assessment of
Yes.
what's going on in major cities across the country.
They endorsed the attack on the White House. They made fun of the president when the Secret Service said you have to get into the bunker. It is absolute. They are totally anti-American. They don't like our government system. You listen to the left, they want to get rid of the Supreme Court or expand it because they don't like the results they get. They want to get rid of the Senate because they don't like the results that they get. They want to get rid of the Electoral College because they don't like the results they get. The whole point, the whole agenda of the left has places zero value on any of our founding principles, and it is purely about acquiring and exercising power. That's it.
When Roe was being overturned 2 years ago, actually, today is the anniversary that Roe was overturned. I was going to these protests at the justices' houses, which there's literally a law that says you cannot protest in front of the home of a justice with an intent to influence or intimidate that justice. It's literally a federal law. And yet they let them do this. Even the day after they arrested that attempted assassination, or the guy that wanted to assassinate Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
And it was still going on this same day.
Well, and has like Jane's Revenge or any of those organizations that were involved in like doxing
Yes.
the locations of the justices, have they ever faced any kind of
No,
consequence?
I literally talked to the U.S. Marshals. I went in like January. They've been protesting for like 6 months. It was freezing cold rain. And I asked the U.S. Marshals, why aren't you arresting them? There's literally a law. And they told me that DOJ had told them not to.
Listen to the list of things that we have just come up with off the top of our heads that the media has endorsed that are illegal. Like straight up, the media supporting illegal activity up to and including, and granted, the VP is not in the media, but the VP was getting donations to bail out people that were violating property rights and that were destroying things and arsonists. Yeah. The idea of the rule of law has gone out the window. It is imaginary.
But they're the ones saying, I mean, I wrote something about this today, but Maxine Water was like, alluding to all the violence that would happen if Trump is reelected. They're saying, no, it's them, even though it's actually them.
When Maxine Waters was straight up the one that said, don't let them alone, go after them.
The cabinet members.
She literally said that.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.